In 453 days since now 16-year-old Sebastian Rogers vanished from his home in Hendersonville. His disappearance sparked national headlines, but now his father says the case is losing momentum. With National Missing Children's Day coming up on Sunday, he is raising his voice and demanding urgency. News 2's Caitlin.
I went and talked to neighbors, and every single one of them, every single one, welcomed me. And if they had video surveillance, they gave it to me. The only person that would not talk to me as the only person that had something to hide and wouldn't talk to me. You know, she has a son that's hiding and waiting for somebody in the dark, late night on the 25th. And there needs to be some explaining for that. I'll just leave it at that.
That we are going to keep searching, we are going to keep looking, we are going to find him, and we are going to bring him home.
Since we first aired the video last month, authorities have said no evidentiary value.
It is of no evidentiary value. It is of no evidentiary value.
Can you tell me what those lights are?
No.
Why?
Because the investigation remains ongoing.
Yeah, I'm working on behalf of Sebastian. I am not, my client is Sebastian, and they're the guardians that have the ability to sign.
It just started. Hi Dad, I know this is gonna sound weird, but tomorrow's picture day. So could you send some decent clothes over to me so that I can wear the decent clothes and be handsome for my baby so you can wear decent clothes? Mom!
Because our heart is missing. He is my world. I need him. I need him back with me.
To the dark. right, welcome everybody. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I apologize, I just could not go live yesterday. A lot of moving parts going on behind the scenes, of course, of what we may or may have not discovered. Of course, I wish I could tell you right now, but we just can't for many reasons. And in good time, you guys will understand why, and you guys will be the first to know. But until that time, there's still plenty to go over, look at, and kind of explain why we are so focused on this area as much as I can. There you go. Oh, that's awesome, Shaq. Yeah, it is a great game. I love that game. I don't play much. I don't get much time to play, but yeah, it's a great game. It's a game kind of based off like a Stephen King type thing. It's pretty cool. Anyway, I'll get sidetracked with my ADD, but yeah. Yeah, that's where that song comes from, is from that game. It kind of blew me away. Anyway, so, kind of go over, again, as I said before, I wish I could tell you guys so much more, but there is tons to kind of go over. And there's a lot of people behind the scenes, working many angles. So even if, let's just say, this doesn't turn out to be something, there's always secondary and third options that are being looked into as we speak. Potential big leads, in my opinion, which is amazing. So there's so many angles being looked at. But right now, for me, as you guys know, I'd like to focus on surveillance, break it down. What do we got here? And yeah, so I'm sure most of you guys have been watching and paying attention about this weird activity that's been going on in the cemetery next to the neighborhood. It's a very small cemetery. It's a historic cemetery, not very big. And there is weird stuff that's going on the night before he goes missing and the night of. And, what are the odds that we have this kind of weird activity going on? And so I think there are two scenarios that could be going on. We can talk about one, the other one we can't until, that time is appropriate. And believe me, when you guys will be the first to know. And when that happens, trust me, you guys will understand why we had to not say anything and let things behind the scenes work them, the moving parts do their thing. So here we are. Let me pause it really quick, but if you can, please hit that like button. Again, I know if you've been in here, we've kind of gone over this, but there's actually multiple reasons why I'm kind of breaking this down again, and we'll kind of discuss like what could be a proper explanation that is not nefarious, right? What would kind of explain the activity we see? Because since I've gone live on Tuesday, right? Or Monday, I'm sorry, I went live Monday. Since then, I still get more footage, and I still try to look at days after or days before or the hours just before all this happens or the hours after. I don't see anything. There's nothing going on. So, again, it just even makes it even more a major red flag that this is going on in this little cemetery. So anyway, just in case if you have not been with us watching this show, I'll kind of break down what we're seeing. And again, there's multiple reasons, and I'll just kind of explain one thing first, just to kind of get your bearings of what we're looking at, just in case if you haven't been watching. Don't go that small. Actually, I think I could probably go full screen there. Okay, cool. But anyway, just in case if you don't know what we're looking at, so obviously we have Sebastian's neighborhood here and his home where he went missing the night of the 26th or the 25th, early morning 26th. And we have surveillance from a home that's up here on Kellen, and they have multiple cameras, and one of them happens to look, actually two of them, look in the construction, and beyond the construction is the cemetery. And it's not a big, again, I've already mentioned this, not a big cemetery. It's just kind of squished in between this new development and the school. And again, it's just a historic cemetery. I forget the age of it. Maybe someone in chat knows. But it was for the locals out there that just went to that church that are a lot of them, the people that are buried there are the people that the patrons that went to that church. So anyway, one of the first things I noticed when looking at the footage is we had this strange light, and we just couldn't figure out where it was coming from. We could definitely tell it was not coming from the construction area because we kind of have this horizon line. I've broken that down in other videos. But there's something that's definitely in the cemetery that lights up, what you're seeing here. And this is the night before he went missing. And it's this thing right here. And it lights up for about 6 minutes. Very, very bright, right? And sorry, I look at chat and I start reading it and I lose train of thought. Rachel, it's in the description, but I'm sure my mods can post it. But I appreciate any of the support. We ask for, usually don't ask for donations or beg for them or anything. We did ask on Monday for some because there are things that we may need to assist in with financial, and of course more of that will be explained when the time is appropriate. But anyway, but I do appreciate everybody that donated on Monday. That was awesome. So anyway, so we have this weird activity, and of course we since then figured out what that is. And as I zoom in, and here's just kind of everyone's kind of wondering what are we looking at. Here's kind of a more zoomed out from the surveillance footage, and I'm kind of overlaying the nighttime with the daytime with the construction, so you can kind of see, where we're looking at, and that's the construction site, but we're kind of looking on the horizon of the construction site, just beyond it, which of course is that church, and then we can actually see the school, as you can see here. That is the stadium light, and this is taken at almost 8 p.m. just to kind of get your bearings that as this stadium light goes out and what lights are left, we kind of get an understanding of what lights are what in the background. That way we can kind of get our sense of what we're kind of looking at and the direction, right? So that big light goes out. This light, whatever it was, is not there anymore. We have no idea what it is. That's not the suspicious light. Obviously, that's the one below it. But with locals and Silvers and other people assisting behind the scenes, doing an amazing job, we kind of figured out, what are some of the other background lights and kind of where they're at. That kind of helps us orient where we're kind of looking at, which is amazing. And so we kind of figured out that these lights over here, this kind of area right here is the stadium, right? So that's kind of almost the horizon of where the stadium's at. So we have kind of like the church kind of mushed in between the construction and the school, the cemetery, if that makes sense. And I should note right away, and I mentioned this on Monday, the church has been notified, and some law enforcement, I believe, has been notified as well. So please don't bother the church. They know. We are in talks with them as we speak. And there's some things we are just waiting on with them. But they know about this. They've actually apparently seen some of my lives and understand the situation. So this is great news. You know, if it is nothing, then at least we can knock it off the list. But for now, they even believe this is definitely, I mean, I want to speak for them, but it sounded like they were very concerned about what was going on the night before and the night of Sebastian's disappearance that was going on in their, cemetery. Oh, thank you, Stevens. Appreciate that. Okay. So, if you've been with us, the first thing obviously we want to figure out was what was this light that shows up on the 25th and the 26th. And thanks to Silvers and other people as well, going through that cemetery, we figured out that it is this memorial thing. And I have now figured out what it is called. As a matter of fact, I believe it was the pastor that was the one that told us what this thing is called. It's called a columbrium. And that's for people that, get cremated and then they just have their cremations in there and their names. And yeah, that is called a columbrium. When you look at the actual word, which I'll show here in a minute, you feel like you want to pronounce it a different way. You got to love English. So anyway, this thing is highly reflective. Has no lights. That was one of the things we were wondering. Like, is there, some kind of lights that light this thing up, at night for somebody to see? But obviously 3 a.m. And the other thing we also learned about from the church is that they do not allow. So it's almost like a park. You know how there's kind of like a curfew. You're supposed to be in parks from sunrise to sundown, right? It's the same thing with cemeteries, or at least this one anyway, where they don't want people in there. And oh, thank you, Heather, so much. God bless you for the Venmo. That is so sweet. I just got it. Thank you so much. So anyway, then we ran some tests and we figured out that this thing is highly reflective. I know we've kind of gone over that, but we just want to kind of establish what's going on. Also, because I know that it's possible maybe a church member or two that may work there could be watching this, and I'm trying to kind of also explain what we're looking at and where we believe it is. This is very important for what would be coming up. Yeah, that's how it's kind of like spelled, and you would want to say like columbarium, but it's columbrium. Again, English. So yeah, there's I wanted to look that up because I keep always saying the memorial plaque, and I know I know that's not what it's called, and I want to be respectful. So that is what it is, and we learned that from the church when speaking with them. So our next thing is we wanted to learn how this thing was being lit up. Now, with our experiments, we may or may not have figured out how that thing was lit up. But unfortunately, I can't really speak about that until the appropriate time. But there's other things that we can discuss. And that is two scenarios, and one of them being, what were they doing? Could this have been some kind of meet after maybe moving Sebastian, right? There's it's already been kind of leaked out there that the vehicle that was seen in around 3 to 3:20 a.m., the suspicious car and the 3 a.m. lights on Stafford, that this unknown vehicle did not have a back license plate. I don't know if that's 100% true or not, but that is, and that comes from a pretty credible source. So I would still take that with a grain of salt, but from what I understand, that source has been spot on with other details. So that thing lights up from 3:23 to 3:29, roughly, on the 25th. And then that same night, about 15 minutes later, and then this is where we'll get into the discussion, is we have at 3:45 a vehicle that is on the west end of the road. Notice how it's higher up than what I call the North Star, which whatever that light was. We believe it may have been even the construction light. Those big floodlights the construction people have. That would kind of make sense because it's not very high wherever it's at. And that might have been possibly just for them. We don't know. That's still just kind of still trying to figure that out because it's not there anymore, whatever this giant light is. Because clearly you would not miss it if you went into that cemetery at night, but it's not there anymore. Anyway, so we have this vehicle at 3:45. And they are on the upper end of this loop, which would make sense of why we would see it, because it would be up on the horizon of near the construction, right? So we would be able to see it. And it appears it is heading towards us, which is south, which is very strange. And sorry, I'll get to the super chats here in a minute. I'm just kind of let them build up for a minute. Oh, thanks, Kitty. Our very smooth glass. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It does. It really does look like it's glass, like made out of marbles. And yeah, very pretty. But yeah, very, very reflective. And yeah, it does. It looks like mirrors. Then, you know what? I got sidetracked there. One more thing. I'm sorry. So at 3:45 we saw a vehicle, and then at 3:49, so 4 minutes later, on the 25th. Oops, I didn't go back far enough. We don't see it as easily as the other one. Again, we are looking super far out, so again, we're not going to see much. But again, notice the time is about a 4-minute difference between when we saw the other one. And if you think about it, it's almost like, did this vehicle loop around? Because this is a loop, right? Very interesting. And then that is it. I do not see anything else going on. Yes. Oh, oops, sorry. Oh, okay, I did. Sorry. I don't know why my chat didn't go up. But yeah, thank you, Rachel. Damn ADHD. Squirrel. Anyway, moving on. So now we get to the 26th, the night that Sebastian disappeared. Let's see. I ran through those. Okay. And back to the 25th. I'm sorry. That should have been cut out. This spot that Silvers is sitting at, and this is when he went last year. He's literally looking towards the construction area, where the security is at. Notice he's at the level. I just want to emphasize this. Notice he's level. Notice there's no land that is above him, right? Because that our security camera is beyond this. So he is. This is why it is very, very important. Because again, it's possible that certain patrons or maybe watching that may need this info. Anyway, you notice there's nothing that's higher, and our surveillance is over here. So there would be nothing blocking it. So it would make sense. Why would we see something about here? But then, of course, with all the trees and everything else, it would probably be obscured, right? And then as the level drops. But as you can see, there is really nothing that would block that up in this little spot here. And that's where we believe that vehicle's at on the 25th. And so that is exactly where Silvers is at. And again, this was last year, which is an amazing job. Yeah. Yep. And then that's him driving down the west end of the loop. And of course, there's our Columbrium. And again, vehicles and where we think they're going. So we have that activity on the 25th with either one or two vehicles. Possibly, I believe it could be just the same vehicle, maybe looping around, or and possibly scouting the area. But this is the big thing, is we don't see. Okay. So after the 3:45 and 3:49 on the 25th, the night before he went missing, we don't see any cars leave like we do on the 26th, right? We don't see anything enter or leave, which is very suspicious because there are a couple of high points from where we're looking that we should see at least some headlights or taillights, but we don't. And that's regarding the 25th. So keep that in mind, because on the 26th, we do actually see a vehicle leave at 3:53. So if the cars did not enter from the entrance off Long Hollow, nor did they exit, then there's only one other entrance / exit that they could take. And this is where it gets really suspicious, in my opinion. That's a great question, Jazz. That's a great question. Great question. Oh, thank you, Sassy. So anyway, let me get to my map here. So while I play that, Let me get to the live chats here. Oh. And Jazz, thank you as always for the $10 gifted, $10 super chat, and the love and support. I know and Jazz would love to be here. I know she has some things going on, and I do wish her the best, especially this time of year. Siggy, I hope that's how you say it. Thank you so much for gifting a Mob Crew membership and supporting this channel. It means the world. Sensei, I got my big 36. Oh, that's awesome. Oh my gosh, that's insane, Sensei. That is awesome. Congrats. And thank you. That is so awesome. Dang, 3 years, over 3 years probably, supporting this channel. That's so awesome. Thank you, Sensei. And Stevens, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. God bless you. You are so amazing. And then we have Henry Dog. Thank you, Chris, for keeping Sebastian in the light. God bless you, Henry Dog. Thank you so much. That is so awesome. And I promise you, you've been with my channel. You know that whatever I can do to help in these cases, especially when I start to get directly involved, I'm going to do everything I can. And trust me, man, I wish I could say so much more, but there's still plenty to discuss for now. But we have to be patient. But trust me, we all as a community in here could be a part of something huge. Okay. So like I was saying earlier, we can see on the 26th, we can see a vehicle leave. That's why it's like really strange, right? So right there, we can see the vehicle leaving, and that's in the church, right? That's not the and that's not the neighborhood, just in case if you're wondering, like, oh, well, maybe that could be the neighborhood, and I'll show you exactly why that's not, as we orient ourselves. Is so when we look, as you notice, the homes are lower, right? About right here, they go down, and our stuff. Notice the church, because of the rolling hills, kind of goes up. And this is about the spot, because we see the two lights from this building here, which is this lights from this building off the school. It's a little building that for the athletes and stuff. And so there's some lights that we can see, and we see a vehicle passing in front of those lights, which means it has to be on this road. I know these trees are blocking it, but it's right here. And that is, because see these little lights back here? Those lights are part of the that building, that rectangle building that's part of the school. So, and that car is clearly in front of them. So, very fascinating. On the 26th, we can see a vehicle leave, but yet on the 25th, we don't see no one enter or no one leave, unless they're doing it with their headlights off. And then there's just kind of an angle from the daylight time to show you guys, and just a couple of different explanations of where that vehicle is. Again, because I do believe that there is. Oh, and not only that, so keep this in mind as well. Not only do we see that vehicle on one camera, we see it on the other camera, because remember, there's two cameras, and that face the construction, the backyard, and they're both positioned where one's looking kind of one direction and angle, and one's covering the other, but they both overlap each other, and they just so happen to overlap. But of course, the other one's is in a different position, and of course has a bunch more trees in front of it. But those trees cannot hide what is in the dark. Because, again, there's a reason why I'm explaining why it's so important that we see this vehicle leave. Not only on one, but two cameras. And again, this is kind of the school area, right? Remember the three lights right here? And we can see that vehicle. It'll kind of go through. Again, there's so much trees. But we see them cut through here. Right there. And that is the same time that we see the car, obviously at 3:53 on the 26th leaving. Okay. Oh, and then this is just one more time showing the two different cameras as they leave and the times, right? So we know that if there was a vehicle either entering or leaving with its lights off, we should have caught it not on one, but not only one, but both cameras. So again, hopefully I've got that point across. I'll pause it here in a minute. I just want to explain this. So again, two entrances, right? Hollow Pike, which would be the normal, appropriate way to enter this church and into the cemetery, right? And then there is a secondary entrance / exit. But it's not a normal one. It's not really a public entrance. And this is off Ward Lane, which we'll get into. After Stranger Things is over, I love this shirt. I only wear this shirt when I go live. Right now, until the Stranger Things is over. See, now you guys got my ADD going. I bought this shirt when season 4 kind of finished, with Hellfire and how big it was, which was like 3 years ago, whatever. And I had moved just shortly after, and I actually put it away somewhere because I never opened it up. I got it, I think, off Amazon or somewhere. And I almost wanted to save it as kind of like a collector's or something. And then I'm like, you know what, screw it, because you can just order another one. And I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna bust it out. Anyway, so that's the Hollow Pike entrance. And now we're going back to the 25th, right? Because we have the activity. No vehicles seen entering or exiting, right? So, let's say if there was, somebody doing like, people now do ghost hunting, right? They go to all these different churches or cemeteries, do ghost hunting at night. And you could kind of say 3 a.m. would be kind of a time that they would probably go, right? Because there's something with 3 a.m. But yeah, we don't see them enter on the 25th. And I don't know, being in there for, well, we'll talk about how long these people might be in there, but I don't know. I don't think it's people doing paranormal stuff, right? Again, it's not a big cemetery. It doesn't have anything that, where there's supposed, ghost activity, right? Let me know your thoughts. Looking at both sides of the coin, right? What would be a rational explanation for what they're doing in there, right? It's not workers. That's the other thing that was nice about speaking with the church. They don't work at 3 a.m. in the morning. Certainly wouldn't be safe. I'm sure there's plenty of different reasons why they're not working at that time. So we confirmed a lot of stuff thanks to the church. This is highly abnormal, but Now going back to the entrance, or the secondary entrance, which would be off Ward Lane. Now, for those that don't know, there is a gate here. And this gate, we've seen it, recently we've seen it, it's still there. Sometimes it's unlocked, uneven open, which is interesting. But when Silvers went out there, it was locked. Seeing another person go out there last year, it was also locked. It's locked with a chain linked and a padlock, which means that there's only a certain amount of individuals, maybe even including the church, I'm assuming, that would probably have access to this lock. Now, this is the other thing, and then I'll pause and kind of get your guys' thoughts on this. Is if they came through Ward Lane, I'm going to show you right here, and that how much where Ward Lane comes from and goes. So let me just back this up just a little bit. So here we are at the only other entrance to this place. And again, it has a gate with the padlock. And there's Ward Lane. Now here's me following Ward Lane, right? There's one home that cuts off from that Ward Lane, both basically farm homes. That's another home that comes off Ward Lane. Then we go up north, follow Ward Lane, a couple more homes that cut off from that street, and it dead ends. So Ward Lane is not very big, and it dead ends. And the only way to get onto Ward Lane, very interestingly enough, is there's two entrances to get onto Ward Lane. We have New Hope, which is also New Shackle, if you go south of Long Hollow. It's the same road. Or, interestingly enough, there's also a little back road from the school, as we see here. There's this little back road, but that is the only way to get onto Ward Lane. Is you could sneak in through the school and cut into it, or you've got Shackle Island, New Hope, which is the same road, and go on that road. As far as I know, I don't think that's a road right there, right? Oh, that's just Ward Lane. Anyway, yeah, so that's it. So keep that in mind. Very interesting. Janice. I'm sure it's possible. I mean, that's great. I love that. That's great to think outside the box like that. Certainly. For sure. That's a great question, Biker. I don't know. Maybe the homes do. I'm sure the school, from that one entrance probably does. But here's Ward Lane. There was just a look, of one of the street views of Ward Lane, kind of right at the kind of little intersection there where it splits off. So again, let me know in the chat, what would be non-nefarious, rational explanation for what we're seeing on the 25th? these people most likely did not enter from the normal entrance. If they did it with their headlights off. I will always leave a little ounce of possibility that we just don't see it, but with two cameras, I could see maybe one camera, but with two different angles, we don't see anything entering or exiting. I find that very suspicious, right? Then we break down the time of everything going on, right? So, and this is just the 25th, the night before. We have this columbrium that gets illuminated starting at 3:23 a.m., which means that whoever's in there clearly had to have gotten in there before 3:23, right? So it could have been in there at 3:10, 3 a.m., as far as we know, right? Then, on top of that, we have one or two vehicles at 3:49 and 3:51, or excuse me, 3:44 and 3:49, seen on the west end of the loop on the 25th. So, just the activity alone is from 3:20 to 3:50, just kind of rounding it off for 30 minutes plus, right? And again, that is not accounting for them having to get in there. So you add another 10 minutes at the very least to get in there. And then you add, 5 to 10 minutes after we see the car, right? Because we don't know, what else they're doing in there after. So they could almost be in there for 50 to an hour, 50 to 60 minutes. And most likely, can't say 100%, came in from Ward Lane. Why? Why would they do that? Now, I will tell you, there is a camera at the church entrance. There's two, I think. Maybe three. I think there's two for sure. So you have activity going on, vehicles or vehicle or, one or more vehicles in there as well for 30 to well over 30 minutes for sure, guaranteed. And, before we get to that, what would be the rational explanation? I've heard someone say, maybe it could be a drug deal, right? I don't know what drug deal takes 50 to 60 minutes, although, I had a few years where I was a pothead. I'm not ashamed of it. Anyway, so I've done, some shady stuff when I was, in my teens and early 20s, when it was illegal. Now things have changed, but I don't know why you're going to go into a cemetery to do that when, you could just go on Ward Lane, that doesn't make any sense. What other rational explanation? Yes. Very highly unusual place to be. Previous video went down Kellen. Facing the construction. Yeah, you're talking about the undercover SUV. Yeah, so Mr. Bean, that was the one that went towards the construction off Kellen. That was the day after he went missing, and even further dates as well. But on the 27th at 3 something a.m. in the morning, undercover, guaranteed law enforcement. Yeah, drove and then looked into the construction area with its spotlight. Hey, it's Drew. Wow, it's been a minute since seen you. Lover's Lane. I mean, I like it. That's definitely thinking outside the box. Be kind of creepy at a historic cemetery though for a Lover's Lane, but I like it. You know. Um. We are looking into that for sure. We are looking into that. And yes, we thought about ghost hunters. But again, the weird thing is that these vehicles likely came in through the back entrance, which again means it's a little more nefarious. I agree with Mrs. Thornton there. Yeah. Yeah, not a very romantic. Yeah, although I like it though. It's everybody's trying to think outside the box. This is what we need. What would be a rational explanation? But then again, we're only talking about the 25th. We haven't gotten into the 26th, right? So then when you combine both of them, then that's where it's like, okay, that's a little much for it to be just a non-nefarious activity. But I do like people trying to think of kind of the non-nefarious, rational explanations, right? So let's Chrissy, so that pond in the cemetery, I don't think it was drained, but it was, from what I understand, was searched. And I think it might have even been narc divers that did it. Don't, quote me 100%, but I'm pretty sure that's, it was definitely looked into. Rug spot. I'm sorry, Ski, I don't know what you're saying. Yeah, it is weird, right? But again, it's good to try to think of like, okay, how can we, explain it in a rational sense? And, again, I kind of drug deal and ghost hunting would be probably at my top list, right? That I can think of. And I would say like ghost hunting would probably be at the top. That's about the only thing I think of. But again, usually, I know ghost hunters. Usually they do at night there and then they leave. So, the fact that again, it's not that we just have the one night, we have the other night, and that's where a place to sell rugs. Do you need to go to a cemetery to sell rugs? Man, what kind of rugs do I not know about? That's a great question. That is, as a matter of fact, you know what? Hey, and there's somebody that may be watching right now could probably, yes, we need to, um, thank you. That is a great statement. As possible they could be watching, so hopefully maybe we'll find out some more tomorrow. yeah, we do need to find that. That's a great comment. We do need to figure out who has access to that. And I've seen like the farmers, they'll so when we've searched for Dylan Rounds and even with Aiden Clune, I've had to go around different ranches and stuff like that. And you'll come across a lot of those kind of like gates with a lock on them. A lot of times they just have they don't have like a padlock on them. They'll just kind of have like a chain or a rope or something around them. And so it looks like for somebody that, is not, what's the word I'm looking for? That's familiar with that area, right? They may just go and see that and, oh, that's locked. But if, others that are, been out there may know that, oh, okay, this thing is just there to make sure that their animals don't get loose. So people can come in, but they need to make sure that, they open up the gate. It's available to open. You can go through it. Just make sure you close it. So just in case, with Dylan Rounds and Clune, mainly cows, and don't get loose. So that's possible. All right. Before we get to the 26, Kat, great question. They did send over the footage they had when he went missing, which is great. Unfortunately, they did have a system where it saved for a long time, but I'm not sure. But they said after Sebastian went missing, it pooped out on him because it was kind of, I don't know, an older system, or I'm not sure. I don't know the exact details. They ended up getting a new one. So any footage that they had saved for themselves was now gone that we know of. But yes, the footage. Is that comment? The footage that this church had was sent to law enforcement, so which is great. Hopefully, it got to the proper entities with that. So yeah. And Gypsy, you're not too far. Yeah. And anybody that's asking to come and help right now, I really appreciate it. I know I got a lot of people that want to come and help. We've already, again, we don't want to bother the church. They know everything, possibly even be watching this live show. And again, they know what's going on. Things are in motion because, again, we're talking about two scenarios, and we'll kind of get to the one scenario. Again, the other one, I can't until the time is right. But speaking with that, I want to play a little bit of Silver's. He put out a video Saturday, Sunday-ish. And I'm just going to play about 4 minutes of it. Actually, while I'm doing that, I'm going to put the link to his video in the description. I forgot to do that.
That's a leaf, right?
So if you guys remember, there was a lot of...
here we have...
No one's dug it, it looks like.
So if you remember, as we were kind of starting to learn all this stuff from the surveillance, someone had sent me, or multiple people sent me, a video from, I think, Mom Boss or something like that. And it showed her going out. I forget the date. If someone wants to put the date in there, it was definitely last year. And there was these suspicious dirt mounds in the cemetery. Some kind of looked more natural, and then there was a few that were kind of in the tree line, which was kind of odd. And so, people had wondered, had these been dug up and searched? So, thanks to Silver's on the scene, he went out there recently, obviously, and I'm going to play him looking at a few. Of course, he's got like a 40-minute video. If you haven't seen it, definitely go check it out. It's very interesting. Silvers has been Silvers and Silvers 2, and there's others behind the scenes as well that deserve credit. But I think a lot of them want to be anonymous. But anyway, here's Silvers.
It's almost the same.
Sorry.
It looked like 20 months ago, right? No, that's a leaf, right? Okay.
So you can see there, he's digging up one of the mounds.
It does look like fabric. That's one. It's a leaf, right?
Yeah. Netting fabric that around here that construction
sites. I'm just hitting root. A lot of root. But that dirt's changing color. See that?
Yeah, I think we're to the bottom
of the pile. Smell that fresh. This isn't the shovel I bought for this. I actually broke that one over at Drake's Creek. Look at that.
Sorry, I can't see chat right now. I'm doing something behind the scenes.
No ants.
So it's not an anthill. That's interesting.
So why was this dirt put here? I don't know.
That's amazing that he went out there and did that. Yeah, we looked at that, and I think Silvers did check that. Again, I'm only showing like a few clips. I put the link to his YouTube channel. I'm gonna choke. Don't choke. And then I'm gonna put, or I did, a link to this video that he put out like 3 or 4 days ago.
Okay,
where he went out recently.
Just give you an idea where I'm at, as you can
to search those suspicious mounds. So to kind of ease people's minds about, was anything in those that could have been Sebastian's clothing or Sebastian himself. Silvers did look. I don't know exactly all the specific details of each place he looked, but I know he searched a lot out there. And especially, I think the ones that people were concerned with. Yeah, it does kind of look like clay. Yeah. Which I'm sure could be a pain in the butt to dig. So, anyway, yeah, we'll play just a little bit more of his video here. And if you want to see his whole video, I've got the link in the description as well, because we got to give him a huge, him and his team behind the scenes, a lot of credit. I'm going to go full screen real quick, guys. I'm just going to refill my coffee, maybe use the restroom real quick. This is like 2 minutes more of just some highlights of him kind of going around the church. And this was, recently when he went out there. And then, trust me, we'll talk about some bigger things to come.
see. I'm in the cemetery, beach cemetery, Sebastian's high school and field there. There's the tree line. We have a local walking it now. And there's 4 people, okay? And this is what I like about having, it's going to take us all. Sebastian, Wayne, Drake, Rogers. It's going to take us all to find Sebastian. And here's what I mean by that. If I'm digging this hole and I think I'm done, I think there's nothing there, it's nice to have a second, third, and in this case, a 4th opinion. So we all discuss it off camera. and we believe how much has been dug that there's nothing there. It wasn't ants, but we don't think it's anything also. And Boss Mom Mayo, thank you for finding that. Mom Boss Mayo, check her channel out. But you can see, so once again, I'm facing north, Ward Lane. East is Sebastian's high school, so, and then further east is Warsham's and the storage building. Storage building, Warsham's, his high school. Cemetery I'm standing in. New neighborhood being built. Those homes were not there 649 days ago when he went missing. Then his neighborhood. Now, he's not, but if something happened, allegedly, my opinion, let's go down this road. If something happened to Sebastian and he was accidentally hurt on his own by the hands of another, and people panicked, freaked out, didn't know what to do, could he have been brought here to be rest in peace in a cemetery, somewhere you could pay respects to him and be hidden in plain sight, if you will? I don't know. So many theories, right? So let's walk around. And yes, this was searched in the week or so after he was missing, or the same week he was missing. If I got my coordinates about me and information correct, not only was it searched in, it was searched again. Back to Mom Boss Mayo, I believe Boss Mom Mayo, she was here on April 1st with the mound, and then maybe like a few days later the area was searched again. And maybe someone, you know, looked in that area, maybe someone looked in that area with a ground probe and knew there was nothing there from her video, and it would make sense from what we found, which was nothing. I've got a happy birthday balloon here. This is Saturday, December 6, 2025. You're currently looking at Sebastian's high school field. So looking for Sebastian Rogers, say his name, Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Been missing 649 days today. Tomorrow is his 17th birthday. Say his name, Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Where is Sebastian? So where am I? Hendersonville, Tennessee. Let me give you the coordinates. So I'm standing north side. So this would be looking west. That's the new neighborhood. The next neighborhood over would be Sebastian.
Notice a difference of the road there. When we look at Google Earth, more closer to when Sebastian went missing, as you can see, when he went missing, it was a paved road. Or I'm sorry, backwards. It was not a paved road, dirt road. Now it is a paved road, which is interesting.
Neighborhood, the cemetery here, and as you come across through this way,
and that is the loop.
You're headed east to where you have his high school.
And see, this is where we think that huge light could have been, possibly right here. It's kind of interesting. There's this like gap, because whatever that light was, it was giant, right? And it's interesting. The church doesn't even know what that light was. So I do think it probably belonged to the construction people. I'm just guessing. This is like the best theory. What I call the North Star, because that would be about the appropriate direction. Because where he's at would be, I think he is. There's the stadium. He is kind of what? Let's see. I'm looking at the stadium. So he's about here, and we know that north light was just kind of sitting somewhere here. It may have been here, but it looks like it's beyond the cemetery, but before the school. But whatever it is, it's not there anymore, which it's kind of a shame, because it would just help narrow down everything, even though we've kind of figured everything out. But yes.
and then you'll have the storage building and washrooms that way. So the football field, probably right in the middle of the football field to me, would be a half a mile from his home. Okay, this is Beach Cemetery. You have the pond there. So then if you turn and face north, my car.
Okay, so I think that. Wait.
But then go back this road and.
Yeah, and so anyway, if you want to go check out the rest of that video after my live show, please show Silver's love and support. Subscribe to his channel. Believe me, he's did a lot more. Unfortunately, we can't mention anything at this time, but in due time, just be patient. I just want to say, just in case if I miss anybody, Elizabeth, thank you for the PayPal. Rachel, I think I shouted you out, but thank you so much for the Venmo. And Heather, again, thank you so much for the Venmo. And of course, to those, I'll try to get in chat as well. Trying to multitask here. So we got about 20 to 30 more minutes more. Let's see what time we start. 5. Okay, actually, we're doing a pretty good time. Okay. So it's no secret that we also did tests and stuff, and in due time, those tests, will be revealed. I'm just showing one thing, just to kind of show an example of what's very interesting, and that is, do you see? This is at night, and that is the Columbrium. Now, as you can see at the top, notice that thing is fully lit up. It's not halfway lit up. As far as we know, that thing is fully lit up. Yet, notice here, with his lights, if you notice, his lights don't quite light the entire thing up. Only lights half of it. And of course, that would be the lower half. And if anything, we are seeing the upper half of it, if not the entire thing, which is lit up. So that is very interesting. We may or may not have discovered what it may have actually been. But that will be all revealed when the time is right. Things are, again, if you're just coming in, things are going on behind the scenes. The church knows, particular law enforcement knows, and I would just advise knowing, again, I'm not your mom or your dad, but again, the church knows, so if you can, please don't call them or bother them. They, if you're trying to give them a tip or anything, they know, about all this that's being shown. So now we get to the 26, and also just to kind of mention the intensity of the light on that Columbrium, right? Because it gets very intense for a bit. And again, you have to kind of think, what would create that to really illuminate that for a certain amount of time? And we may or may not have figured it out. And those clues and everything are being worked behind the scenes. So now we move to the 26th, right? So we had the 25th trying to explain what could be a rational explanation, or is this kind of prepping for something? Are they kind of checking out? Would this be a good place to maybe meet up after we possibly maybe move Sebastian or what have you? And so we moved to the 26th, and let's see, because just the night before, at least 30 to 40 minutes of activity in that church between, 3:20 and 3:50 more or less. Is that light on now? If you're talking about the structure, like the columbrium, the memorial thing? No, that thing never lights up except for 6 minutes on the 25th and the 26th. If that's what you're asking. Yeah, I'm not sure because there's so many lights. Hopefully that's your question. And like I explained at the beginning of the show, I have looked on the 27th, I've looked on the 28th, I've looked on the 24th, I've looked on the 25th and the 26th before and after we see it, and nothing. No light on that columbrium, no vehicles that I can see. I mean, there's always something that could have slipped by me, but believe me, I am one tenacious, stubborn person, and you know, I don't see anything. All right, so 26. We got a car, the silver sedan that seems to appear 3 nights in a row. Very interesting. The night that he went missing, right around the time that the suspicious 3 a.m. lights happened. I believe it is possibly a spotter. I don't think it's a DoorDash driver or Uber, or I think they have Uber Eats out there. There's always that possibility. Got to keep it open mind, but I don't think so. Then we know we have the lights going on and the possible moving of Sebastian or some kind of exchange of his clothing. But something going on between somewhere between 303 and we'll say 320, right? But we have this activity going on. I know I played this a lot. This is kind of fast forward, but I just want to kind of show like the time frame of everything going on that night that he went missing to kind of try to put this together, if that makes sense. That's a great question, Meep. I don't think so because they only came out they hadn't been because they lived in California originally. So I don't know, but that's not a bad question. I don't think so. Yes, Miriam. Yeah, it could be exchange. Sure. That's kind of the out of the 2 scenarios that we're thinking of, that is one of them. But let's just look at the time frame of everything that goes on the 26th that we know of. And again, this is all evidence, right? This is all surveillance. This isn't like theory. This is actual evidence, or potential evidence, we should say. Potential evidence. Well, we have this going on somewhere around that time frame there. Move this in a little bit. No matter where Crispy was, because I know a lot of people really want Crispy to be, be here and be the one that was involved at this point. And it's always a possibility, for sure. The 3-hour phone call, I think, is definitely suspicious as hell. I understand that people think that he, that was on purpose for him to have an excuse to drive from Memphis to here. And it's certainly a possibility. But I think no matter what, even if he wasn't here, in my opinion, allegedly, he's still connected to this. And if he was, if what we theorize is correct, no matter what, the those individuals will be locked up or more, depending on what may or may not happen to Sebastian. Oh, thank you, Joel. Oh, we're trying, right? We're trying, and we're trying to do it with the, the actual factual stuff that we know, with evidence, right? This is the stuff we would see in court. So anyway, kind of moving on. Something else we discovered, and this was about a month ago or less, kind of getting more and more footage, is I discovered a car that shows up after the silver sedan, because that one was at 258. There's another car seen on Long Hollow coming towards the neighborhood. I can't say if it turns into it, but I think it's a good possibility. And that was at 3:03 a.m. So, and we have this all going on. And then we move to the cemetery on the 26th. Oh, thank you, Melanie, for the $2 super chat. God bless you. Oh, Suta Zanos, me too. Laugh out loud. Proud to be a part of the mob crew. I appreciate that. Wow, man, that's so awesome. You got over 3 years. That's awesome. Your dedication is amazing, Chris. Thank you so much, Gypsy Girl. And thank you so much for the membership. Love being a little monster. Hugs, Chris. Thanks, Bo. I appreciate that so much. Kathy says, wonder if the little dogs got put in there. Are you talking about the dogs that they had? The Yorkies or something like that? Unless you mean a different dogs. I'm not sure, Kathy. But thank you so much for your memberships and your support. Sassy, thank you so much for the gifted. God bless you. And Fly Girl, happy holidays, Chris. Thank you for a great year. Thank you, Fly Girl. Really appreciate that. We might go. It could go out. If I can talk. This year we may go out with a big bang. We'll just say that. Okay, so now back on track. We have that Columbrium light up. So here's kind of a overhead of the events going on, right? To kind of just put these together and then kind of think about what is the possibilities that the night Sebastian allegedly disappears from his home sometime just after 3 a.m. right here, that within about 20 minutes we have the cemetery activity at the cemetery again. And note, like I said on the 25th, I do not see a single vehicle entering the church. Now, there's always a possibility, but I don't see it. And there's 2 cameras looking at it, and I don't see anything. We have that going on from 3:41 to 3:48. And again, more likely, they could have came from Ward Lane, which that in itself, again, especially on the night that he disappeared, coming from the entrance that is more with gated and possibly locked up. If they did come in that way, again, this is a 20-minute difference, but then isn't even 20 minutes because, again, even though this happens at 3:41 or starts to light up, clearly they had to have been in there before to light this thing up. So they could have been in there by say 3:30, right? So what are the chances, right, that we have the 3 a.m. lights go on till about 3:20? Again, we don't have the exact time, obviously, but we know it's somewhere between 3 a.m. and about 3:25 window. About 3:15, 3:10, 3:15, right? What are the odds that about 10 minutes later somebody's already in the church? And it could have even been in there even earlier. And we have this going on. What are the odds? And then you add on that this happened the night before, right? So you got just the night of, that's a lot of connections. But then you have the night before where it's almost like they were prepping, maybe scouting the cemetery, and maybe they were going to meet after, if Sebastian made it home, maybe to meet at the cemetery and switch him. Yes. Okay, I'm getting some. Some stuff. Sorry. Anyway. So again, like I said, we have 2 cameras that can kind of see the entrance, even though there's a lot of heavily wooded stuff, trees. No signs of a vehicle entering the night he went missing on that cemetery. Yet there's people in there. So how did they get in there? Unless they came in through Ward Lane, which then just even makes it even more suspicious because we have a potentially locked gate. Which again, somebody made up a great question that we need to ask the church. I don't think we asked them that. So we have potentially on the 26th, not only the activity that happens 10 to 15 minutes after this potential abduction, but if anybody's wondering, maybe coming in late, wondering what this gate is or the what it looks like, this is where they potentially entered, and it would have looked like this at the time of his disappearance because now it's paved, but at that time it was not. And there's the gate. Just after the gate, there's a little bit more dirt road, and then there's the Ward Lane that goes east-west, and then obviously splits off. I think there's a fence. Actually, I'm like 90% sure there's a fence, Austin, because there's a couple of reasons why there's that gate there. Because a lot of these homes up here are farms and they have animals. There's a fence, a barbed wire fence that runs through this tree line. At the time, there's a barbed wire fence or fencing that runs through this line here. There's also fencing here. And there is also, as a matter of fact, we could go to Street View as you can see. And that's the kind of fencing you would see. Right there. And we got moo-moos. So as you can see, one of the reasons that was up there. Oh yeah, definitely you could hop the gate. Oh yeah, you could hop the fence. I mean, the fence isn't high. I mean, it's really just to keep the moo-moos and whatever other animals they may or may not have there. But as far as I know, Austin, I don't think they're. Again, I wasn't there. Maybe there was a hole in the fence somewhere. Anything's possible, but I'm pretty sure there's fencing that goes around, be it the construction area between the school. It's all kind of fenced off, mainly with that kind of low barbed wire fence for most of it. Oh, driver. Yeah, I don't know. Unless there was like maybe at one point, maybe there was maybe some fence that was down or something. Again, I want to say like I know everything that's out there. I have locals that obviously are pretty spot on, but obviously there could have been at one point fencing down or something, but I do know clearly those, as we just saw, a lot of these places, those homes out there are farms, and they have animals and whatnot. So anyway, but that's it's good to kind of look at all kind of possibilities. But even strange to even come off Ward Lane in there, right? Gate or no gate, right? Like why come in that way unless you, in my opinion, are doing something nefarious. The vehicle lights, no, that would be much further left. Oh, wait. I mean, that's a great question. It's a good question, right? No, it'd be further left. Much further left. Because, again, I don't know when you came in, but we could see, where the stadium's at, right? Because we can see the stadium lights and stuff, so we kind of know where we're at. And we're looking here. That Ward Lane is way over here. So just to kind of get your bearings. And it's not a bad question, right? But no, they would have to be in the cemetery. So we have the Columbium light up for 6 minutes between 3:43 and 3:49. In between that, at 3:45, there is a vehicle seen going down Long Hollow heading east. Keep that in mind. Towards the direction of the school. Now, they could have turned into the church with the lights off. Certainly plausible. But there are 1 to 2 cameras that look. I'm not sure exactly. I remember someone showing me just kind of a rough idea of where the lights were at the church, just so anyone's wondering. And if I recall, there was like one. I think there was like 2 of them. Not too worried about looking for them at the moment, but yeah, if I recall, there's at least 2 cameras that they have that kind of look, kind of cover this parking lot area, I believe. They may have had more, I'm not sure, but I know of 2 if I recall. Are there any locals in chat that know if gate is open at? Are you saying like is it open at 3 a.m.? Interesting, Miriam, and I will say this is we have found that the gate has been unlocked more recently, but when people went, we know that they were burying somebody. And I don't know if that's used like the gravedigger or whatever. I don't know if maybe he needs to bring equipment in from that way. I have no idea. But we have seen it unlocked, but that is more in the near in more recent times, if that makes sense. But the videos I've seen back in the day, it was definitely locked. So just about finish up here. But 3:45 we see a vehicle go down, and then at 3:47, so this is weird. It's almost like these 2-minute intervals, right? So 3:45 we see a vehicle. Okay, so keep this in mind. 3:45, we just saw a vehicle go down Long Hollow, right? Now, while 3:45 is going, that Columbrium is lit up, right? It's about in the middle of its 6-minute lighting time. 2 minutes later, and that car was seen right. That car was seen right here at 3:45, right? 2 minutes later. 2 minutes. We see a vehicle drive at the school at 3:47. Right here. And we'll get back to what I just showed, but I want to show that that is where the school is at. And it's kind of got that U-turn. There is kind of a road that you can go towards the stadium, but for the most part, it's got that U-turn. And that is happening at the school. .347, that happens. We fast forward. The Columbrium fades out, right? 3:49, so another 2 minutes later, a vehicle is seen at the school again, almost doing a U-turn, right? And then, you guessed it, 2 minutes later after that, what do we have? Another vehicle at 3:51 at the school. Doing almost like a vehicle doing loops. Now, if I were to guess nefarious, you have maybe some kind of handoff going on in the church, right? And if you think about it, and this is one of the scenarios. The other scenario we can't share for now, but we will in good time. But if you think about it, if you were going to like do some kind of aftermath, maybe switch them out to another car, change your license plate, but you have like multiple vehicles involved. If you think about it, if you're in the church, in the cemetery, to the west of you, you've got the new development, right? So it's pretty quiet. There ain't going to be really any witnesses, right? To the north, well, you got farm, nothing going on here, right? To the south, you'd be able to see there's only one road in. You'd be able to know if somebody's coming in, right? You're pretty, pretty concealed. The only thing that, maybe someone might see it if they're at the school, right? So maybe you have a spotter that is driving the school right here, maybe kind of doing just checking the road, but we see it 2 minutes 3 times in 2-minute intervals, which is strange. Because that would be the only place that, really there might be, because there could be maybe somebody jogging. There's people that jog these stadiums, right? Because I've seen it before at these odd hours. People go, although February would be kind of an odd time, but kind of just a spotter, keep an eye, and then to further confirm that there's something going on in the church, guess what? How many minutes later? After 3:47, 3:49, 3:51. Don't forget the 3:45 at the time that we saw the vehicle going on Long Hollow, headed towards the school, which is probably this vehicle, which is this vehicle, which is probably the same vehicle, doing loops. And then at 3:53, 2 minutes later, we see a vehicle, not on one, but 2 cameras, definitely, without a doubt, emphatically, in the church, leaving at 3:53. And here is the lights of that building, that rectangular building, where they line up. I talked about this before. We know that this is in the church. There's no other, it's not the school, because the school is back here. And that is that vehicle leaving, and it is also captured on our other camera. And those are those 2 lights that line up, and that's the rectangular building right here. And this is the basically this is about right here, and you can even see that it's kind of at a high point, right? That's the vehicle driving there, heading out, and that is that spot there. And see the lights. Again, it's easier almost to see it not on the negative, but on the just normal. But we see it heading out at 3:53. And then our last final event. And again, you look at the times, they line up with the 2 different cameras being lined up on the time. And this would be exactly where they'd be leaving. And then we have the final piece, which is at 3:58. Now, it could be another car, but there's not many cars seen between 3 and 4. I think there's about 10 to 12. It's kind of tough to say. And there is a vehicle seen going west, back towards, you could say, Memphis, or yeah. $3:59:08 or 06. One last thing, and I'll read chat here for a minute. And there it is. Potentially could be the same car. It would fit up with the timeline. And maybe one car goes one way, and another car goes another way, splits up, and that is it. And yeah, so we put it all together just real quick, and I'll read chat. There's all of it, just from a top-down view of where everything was going on. But yeah, what do you think? I mean, again, it's certainly one scenario could be them meeting after the abduction, maybe transferring to a different vehicle, or maybe putting the license plate on, switching the license plate. Many factors with that. And then maybe confusing law enforcement with involving two cars and making it seem like, both are really, well, I guess technically both would be involved, but maybe it confuses them that they got maybe two vehicles, but they don't know if both are involved, and, one or more are missing license plates. And yeah, it could be a ruse. So many things. Yes, Jamie, made a miss earlier. So anybody who's coming in late, missed. We have spoken to the church. The church knows everything that's going on. They've been watching my lives, a little bit of them, and there's a reason why I did another one kind of like this to really explain exactly where each piece kind of fits and where they're at, because there's some things that need to happen behind the scenes to move forward on some other bigger project, which unfortunately at this time cannot speak about. But you guys know I don't mention something like this unless when there will be a time very soon, hopefully very soon, that we can go over what we may or may not have discovered and all the stuff that would potentially be going on behind the scenes. Oh, thank you, Pocahontas. I appreciate that. Yeah, school would have surveillance, right, for sure. Oh, yes, believe me, Powers, that's funny you mentioned that. Oh, yeah, believe me, there's certain statements that Crispy have made. There's a few that definitely stick in our mind, that kind of relate to this. Trust me, Liberty. Yes, things are in motion behind the scenes. We're doing all the appropriate stuff. We have certain individuals that are more experienced with putting stuff together like this. And yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's interesting. Oh, and the last thing I just want to mention as we're kind of reading chat, here's the other thing I know I showed. Sorry, and please go check out Silver's. Such an amazing job. Also, I want to have him on. I would love to have him on, I should say. Maybe this weekend. That'd be really cool, huh? I know we don't do a lot of guests, but it would be nice to have Silvers on and maybe just kind of talk about the case in a whole, and just all the different stuff. We don't have to completely focus on the cemetery, but we can just kind of go over different topics. I'm trying to find it. I'm probably not gonna, because it was, I just saw it, and I'm probably not gonna find it again. It's where that car goes. No, actually, I think it was just before that, actually. Anyway, sorry, I'm not going to find it. The other interesting thing is we know that there was cars there, right? Kind of doing this loop. What's interesting, we don't know 100%, but and this comes from a pretty credible source. And again, it's already been mentioned, so it's not like a secret. We know that Katie was seen. There's surveillance of Katie at the school. Now, there's a little bit of debate on what actual camera she was caught on, but I will say that the source I've heard from, which is very credible, that the camera she was actually captured on, and this is where it all just everything goes like there's no way all these things could have happened and this not be just one giant coincidence of all the coincidences, is she's caught on this camera on the loop. There's no way. There is no way that is just a giant coincidence that you have a vehicle, one or more. I think it's the same vehicle, but you never know. 347, 349, 351, looping around at the school. And when Katie goes, wakes up at 6, leaves about 6:23, I believe, 6:20 to 6:23, and she is at that school taking this loop and looping back around. There's just no way. No way. No way. What? It makes me wonder, was there something there that they thought they may have dropped or something, right? When they were doing their, maybe exchanging him in the cemetery, and maybe whoever was in the loop, maybe they thought they had dropped something, or who knows? Maybe with so many things you could think of. Winky dinky, exactly, Chris. There's no way. There's no way. And again, I'm telling you guys, I know a lot of people want to, with the storage units and Mama Socks being there. I definitely think Mama Socks was there for sure. I don't doubt that tip. I'm no doubt she was probably there. But a lot of people think that she went and met her there. I don't know. I think it'd be more reasonable that this sounds a little more credible and it lines up with what we're going with, and that just blows my mind. I know. Can you believe that, Bungie? Can you imagine? Yeah, just one camera and it's capturing some stuff that's like, what, 5, God, like a football field away or more. Right, these tiny little things, and yeah. Believe me, there's so much more, guys. And I will really I'm screaming on the inside, but unfortunately, we just can't talk about it for right now. But you guys will be the first ones to know when that time is right. And yeah. Could Sebastian have left in a trunk and handed off? Oh, certainly. Certainly. Most certainly. I agree. And thank you so much for the $2. For sure. I hope, that sounds terrible for a child that experienced any of this. And I really hope to God that there are other leads. So keep in mind, even though I'm showing you all this, there are other potential leads that are going on in other areas that are just as big. I think we have something pretty massive potentially, but I think, again, there's other potential leads that are going on elsewhere with amazing people that are working on it right now as we speak. So again, it's just a lot of people coming together behind the scenes and saying, we're tired of not getting answers, law enforcement not doing anything, and we're kind of taking things in our own hands in a way that's obviously not, we're not breaking the law or anything. We're doing things respectfully, and we're doing things in the way you should. And again, so I'll just leave with this. Again, I know I mentioned it many times. Please don't call the church. They already know. Their footage has already been sent to law enforcement. And there's things that are in the works, and we just have to take it day by day. But eventually, we will have just for you guys. I promise you. All right, guys. Thank you to all my wonderful mods. I don't know if I'll be on tomorrow. Just kind of depends on what's going on, because there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes as we chat. I think I got everyone's PayPal or Venmo. If I missed you, I will definitely shout you out in the next live. Snooky, oh, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Stay strong, guys. I promise you guys. Stay tuned. Be patient with us. We are covering all, crossing our T's, dotting our I's. And yeah. And yeah, it'd be great to have Silvers on the channel, Then I can actually read chat more when somebody else is on the channel. It's kind of nice to kind of like that way I can kind of interact with chat more. Because when it's just me, I'm always a visual person, so I'm always trying to work the visuals. So yeah, it'd be kind of fun to, bounce different theories, and yeah. So, and I'll try to get some stuff for the Patreons and members. I know it's been a little dry for the last week, but believe me, it's only because there's a lot going on behind the scenes. All right. Okay, 7 o'clock. I'm going to get out of here, guys. And pets. Oh, so this Saturday, I'll probably go live Saturday, and I will do any new members will get, if anybody hasn't seen their pet in the pet outro, we'll get that taken care of, and we'll get a secondary pet outro or just add the new pets in. And yeah, so be patient with me on that, but we will do that for sure. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for the love and support. Stay strong. Keep Sebastian names out there. And just know a lot of moving parts behind the scenes. And you guys will be the first to know when the time is appropriate. All right. See you guys. Be safe.
I lied for you, I tried for you, you won't play alone. I got you in my sight, I keep all the witches